have returned home from a business trip earlier than scheduled. I thought about how to surprise him. While I was hiding in the closet, my husband came home with a woman I didn't know. At that moment, I realized everything. I can't allow it. I can't believe he would betray me, his wife. I decided to take revenge on my husband. My name is Lisa, 32 years old and an office worker. After graduating from university, I started working for a major company. Since then, I've worked hard in my daily job as a career-oriented woman. Up until now, I've been all about work. I met Jonathan and married him a year ago. We have worked together and lived a happy life. My husband works for a medium-sized company and rarely does overtime. I don't have overtime either, but often I would cook and wait for him, since I'm home earlier than him. It was a lot of work to do housework after coming back from work, but I didn't mind because he works very hard and I wanted to cheer him up with a meal I cooked. It was enough that my tired husband could have a good rest at home. And I was doing my best in my own way because I also wanted my husband to think I was a good wife to him. Just one day, I decided to go on a long business trip. This trip was about my career. I was so excited. I even thought that this business trip would determine the fate of my career. But during the business trip, my husband will live on his own. He's a grown man, and I wouldn't worry him that much. My husband is a devastatingly poor cook. He's never even done housework. My husband, who until now had lived at home with his parents, can't even do his laundry. But now we have delivery for meals. Laundry will be manageable since there is a laundromat. And while I was away on the business trip, my husband's birthday is coming. We used to spend our birthdays together. However, due to a business trip, we are unable to spend time together. Jonathan, I'm sorry I can't celebrate your birthday together this year.
Jonathan, I'm sorry I can't celebrate your birthday together this year.
It's totally fine. It can't be helped.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. It's okay.
Good luck on your business. I was also attracted to Lehayo's hard work. Thank you. You got him. I'll try to keep up. I did her dress dye.
This with some kind words from my husband, I headed out on a business trip. I was busy during my business trip and could not get in touch with him easily. I did contact him from time to time, but when I could reach him, my husband was busy. It was difficult to get in touch with him. I missed my husband, but he sent me off to work so I could work so hard anyway. Then, the business trip ended a little early. Luckily, I was able to return home for my husband's birthday. I had planned to be back home without notice and surprise him. On the day of my husband's birthday, I left work early and prepared a cake and a purse that he wanted. Imagining my husband's delight, I was excited to return home. My husband would be home by 6 p.m. Nakati apaitsio, and hid in the closet and waited to surprise him. But my husband never comes home at all. I wondered if he might be celebrating his birthday by his nice colleague. But I wanted to see my husband's surprised face, so I kept hiding in the closet and waited for him. I was tired from the business trip. Before I knew it, I fell asleep. Then, I heard a car and woke up. I opened my closet and checked outside. The brake light was shining. My husband had returned. I quietly closed the closet door and was quietly waiting for him. He came into the house.
I had a great time today. Out today, I enjoyed. Thanks for the delicious dinner, Jeeves video. It's a great dinner. I'm so glad we got to spend your birthday together.
I don't know why, but I heard a woman's voice. I was upset, but I tried not to make a sound in the closet.
Seriously, it's such a joy to not have her on the show. It's personally live. I'm just too happy to spend every day with Izzy. It's hard for me to hear my beloved husband talk like that. It's because there's nothing good about her except her money.
They were excited to talk about me in a bad way. I was astonished. Despite me, they were still talking bad about me.
I'm having a good time because of Izzy, but if I could only have a relationship with her, it would be a suffocating nightmare.
When you're lucky, I'm here.
Besides, you mean I love Izzy more than her?
After saying this, they headed for the bathroom. In the meantime, I left the house quietly, trying not to make a sound. I should have asked him about it right then and there, but I was too shocked to face the reality. Anyway, I booked a hotel nearby and stayed there for the day. As I trudged toward the hotel, suddenly tears began to well up in my eyes. I sat down on a park bench on the way to the hotel. I grabbed the cake I had bought for my husband and put it in my mouth. I was eating the cake while crying. If somebody saw me, I was a suspicious person for sure, but at that time, I didn't care what people thought. I cried for a while, and slowly my sadness turned into anger toward my husband. I don't mean to say that he should return the favor, but I have done so much for my husband. I cooked for him, did the housework, he told me he had something he wanted, and gave him gifts that cost thousands of dollars on his birthday. I can't tolerate being called a money spinner for that. I threw the wallet I had prepared for my husband into a trash can in the park as hard as I could.
You have some nerve cheating on me while I'm on a business trip.
I mumbled to myself and left the park. On the way to the hotel, I decided to get a divorce. But he would only be happy if I divorced him so easily. I decided to divorce him after I had hurt him enough. After that, I stayed in a hotel for a while. I planned to go home next week, so I won't be home until then. But once I got home on the way, I found my husband's car. That's strange. He should be at work now. I called his company, pretending to be his business partner. Hello, may I talk to Mr. Jonathan? I'm afraid, but he is taking a 1 week off. Oh, I see. Thanks. I wondered if the mistress works for the same company, so I checked. By the way, is Miss Icy there? I'm sorry, she is also taking a 1 week off now. Do you have any messages? If it's urgent, I can put someone else in charge. Not, and no in a hurry. I'm fine, thank you. This with that. I hung up the phone. I also found out that my husband was having an affair with a coworker. It makes me sick. I have nothing but disgust for my husband, whom I used to have love for. I would check on their movements outside the house for a while. They came out of the house making out together, and then they were getting into the car and went off somewhere. They were carrying a big baggage. They must be going on a trip. You can see what a carefree act to take days off from work to go on a trip with his adulterous partner. I made sure he had gone out and went inside the house. I decided to take out all my valuables and other things I needed. I did one last check of the house. I'm attached to this house. We decided to get married and build a strong life together. We bought the house with our savings. It was a second-hand property. It looked like I have a very nice house to live in with the person I love. But now come to think that I was living with a traitor. I feel so uncomfortable. I walked around inside. I found a lot of the cheating partner's belongings. I guessed he felt like he has been living with her while I was away on a business trip. I found lotion, shampoo, and conditioner that were not mine. When I saw them, I was beyond angry and disgusted. What had all this time we had spent together come to nothing? I left home and went straight to my lawyer. He helped me prepare for divorce. I also headed to the detective agency and gathered evidence when I went to the house. I probably should have photographed the evidence. I didn't want to film it on my phone. I didn't want the scene to replay in my brain forever, and I couldn't stay in the hotel forever. I rented a monthly apartment. I packed up my belongings that I had taken with me. I was also thinking that I needed to find a new place to live. By this time, I had already made up my mind to get a divorce. I was already reopened. I no longer had any love for my husband. I'd lost interest in him. But the hurt I've suffered, even momentarily, I would not be satisfied unless I returned it to my husband twice as much. As I was working as usual and waiting for a call from the detective agency, I received a well-timed call. They told me that they had the evidence. I asked them to keep the evidence and went to my husband's house. He must have returned from their trip because his car was there. I was headed for the cake shop after I checked he was home. I bought a cake there and went to his house. I unlocked the door and quietly entered the house. I made sure he was not in the living room and I headed for the bedroom. Then I heard the voice of my husband and the woman with whom he was having an affair. So I took a strawberry whole cake out of the box and stood in front of the door. Happy birthday to you! My voice startled my husband and his cheating partner. I ignored them and continued singing, Happy birthday, dear Jonathan. After seeing that match, I threw a whole cake at my husband. Unfortunately, it didn't hit him though.
Oh no! And you were like, hey, what are you doing? Molly, it's that weird him. I didn't know you were home already. Why didn't you call?
I was already back on your birthday. Do I make myself clear?
Are you kidding me?
My husband's mouth is agape. This mistress, she doesn't know what to do. That made me speechless.
I want to say, you are kidding me. What are you doing? Can you explain?
Now, Mrs. Delete Roach. That's way!
What is that woman doing here too? Here's my house.
Well, Esteem, that's there. Now, after you.
They were both too upset to answer.
I'm your money spinner, and you only love that woman, right? Then from now on, I want you to return all the money you took from me in the form of alimony.
The husband gulped, and then I looked at the woman with whom he was having an affair and saw that she was trembling.
Well, don't just stand there. Get down on the floor and sit straight.
I say! I was just playing with this woman. You were busy with work, so I missed you.
He's right, liar. And the speaker at Odyssey is a tot. I have a been too, but he doesn't give me much attention. Oh, precious caution stars.
Ray trying to say goodbye today. That's right. That's sweet, but I don't fit for each other anymore. We just broke up.
Cheating traders are good liars. I just heard you from outside. They were joking about their next trip to New York.
After I said, both my husband and the cheater's faces scrunched up.
You two are such idiots. I told you, I heard you guys talking nonsense, didn't I? Do you really think that lie is going to work?
I'm sorry, but I was about it, certainly. I apologize. I admit that I cheated on you, so please forgive me.
Being clean doesn't mean you're forgiven.
I really did. Just he by just. Tremaline.
We're gonna divorce.
No, we are not a divorce.
It was really just for fun. Please don't give him a divorce. Mrs. Lisa, that's easy, right? Just look who's talking.
Don't forget that you're also subject to alimony.
And, Gums, I was just having an affair.
I understand. It's normal to pay alimony. You knew I existed and cheated on me.
I was stunned by the cheating partner who seemed to have not heard what I had to say. How could I have lost my husband to such a woman with no common sense?
I want a divorce. I've already hired a lawyer. Please ask the lawyer about alimony. I've even hired a detective agency to help. I solid proof of your affair. If you're thinking of excuses, stop because there's no point.
Are you kidding me? I died bumpers next, sir. I don't want a divorce.
You even said you didn't want to talk to me. How are you going to live our married life from now on? Oh, you think you need me because you're a money spinner.
No, that's not what I meant.
I'm sorry, honey. Fix the colors. This year, I got you that luxury brand wallet you wanted. Now it's in the trash.
But you tell me, right? I get about in good face. Bye-bye.
That's all I said. I left the two of them and left the house. After that, my husband contacted me several times, but I ignored him. I left everything to my lawyer. Then, my husband was fired from his job. I guess it is because I sent proof to the company where he and the cheating partner work. Why couldn't he understand that? My husband was so dependent on me for living expenses. I don't think he has a penny of savings. Somebody's been fired through my lawyer. My lawyer asked me to let him pay the alimony in installments. I agreed to this as long as he paid me and the mistress too. She was fired from her job and now she has no money. Her husband found out about the affair and she seems to be demanding alimony. She tried to rely on my husband, but he has no savings and is working as a daily laborer. She judged that she was unable to rely on him. She betrayed him and switched to a man who seemed to have money, but the man she switched to is not even working. He was a man who's in debt and was spending extravagantly. I am somewhat relieved to know that neither the husband nor the cheater is happy. It is not good to take pleasure in other people's misfortune. After that, I was successfully promoted after the long business trip. I was praised as the first woman in the company's history to be promoted at such a young age. Some of my younger colleagues admire me. I'm even more motivated to work. From now on, I want to be a great boss who sets a good example for my subordinates.